Today I'm gonna show you my Ninjago market mock. Before we jump right into all the details, here is the final result of my build and I have a challenge for you. How many construction elements, how many construction parts you can spot in this build? I built this for a new elementary contest in which we have to build using construction element in an unconventional way. Now, you feel free to pause the image, the video, and let me know in the comments how many have you spotted. Now, back here on the building table, here is how it started. I already have the base of the build over here. And here I have a little bit of an idea of the kind of elements that I'm gonna be using in this build, not as construction item, but as something else. So let's move this on the side and let's see what I came up with. So here we have the base, is a 16 by 32 base plate. I have a sort of water feature, sort of canal here. I put some plates underneath in black and green to give a little bit of different color, a little bit of plants and stuff in the water. And here we have the first part of the road. So here I'm gonna have different kind of stores and then a higher level on top and a little bit of additional walkway over here on the front. So I think that's the first thing that we can add to make the scene a little bit more complete. So here I have another very similar structure with a little bit of details in tan and in light gray. We are gonna make a corner here on the side, and then later on we are gonna add a little bit more details here at the front. Now we're gonna leave it empty so we can see clearly what's happening here. So we have already a few minifigures. Here the first store. Here you might recognize the sushi chef. I already made a couple of builds for this one that I recommend you to check out. They were pretty nice. So in his little store here, I decided to add one sort of banner over here that somehow in his logo he have a couple of swords. And then over here we're gonna add the first element of the construction, which is this digger bucket that I connect behind in this way, and it's gonna create the cover of the outside of his store. We can add a little bit of side walls, so here we are changing color from tan to white for the next store over here, and here is gonna be a sort of a fish store, fish market kind of thing. For this one, I am gonna use some of these crane buckets. I have two of these in white. These are just gonna sit there in between the studs, and then the minifigure with the end down is gonna hold it into place. So I actually have two of these. Slide in and hold it into position, and then I can add some fishes over here. So let's assume that this is actually into water, into a glass or something like that, and then the customer can come and pick their fishes or crab. Okay, same thing over here. I'm gonna put another digger on top, different color. It's actually the same exact style, just a different color. Now, moving along, I'm gonna create two more stores over here. Now here we are gonna go with a different color scheme. I'm not gonna put any vendors outside here, but I'm gonna I have a sort of brick build door with a little bit of stickers and printed tiles, and then one more on the right side. In this case, I use again a different kind this time of digger bucket connected in a similar way with modified plates. Now, once all the connection is nice and solid, you can see at the outside here I'm going a little bit overhanging, and over here we are gonna add a tipper bed in gray that is gonna be the top of this store. Later we are just gonna tile this up, put some plates here, so this is not connected but it's gonna be held in position just by the plates on top. Now I think it's time to move to the higher level. Starting from the left side, here I have this a little bit of weird interesting angle with some details. As you can see, these brown bits are gonna be pressing down on top of the digger bucket to keep everything in position. Over there, I close it down because we are gonna have another additional detail on top. But before we do that, let's move to the left side where we're gonna add one more store on top that we have it over here. Before I connect, I can show you. So here I use at the entrance some sort of minifigure cloth pieces to create a interesting Japanese sort of open entryway. And here I use some gray shovels. This is a technique similar to the one used, I think, in Ninjago City docks. So I reuse it a little bit here. It's a little bit different actually. Two of them are on the same height but move forward. I think the one in the Lego set was a little bit different and definitely better than mine. So here again we are gonna connect this on top, and we are gonna have this keeping the tipper bed in position. So now we have the higher level connected. This is just on hinges, so we can tilt it down, and we can start to add, I think, a little bit of extra details. So one thing that we can add is this. So I use a wheelbarrow as a phone booth. You can see I have a cable coming out into this lightsaber hilt that is gonna build the phone, the end part of the phone, and there we can put a minifigure having his phone call over there on top. I think this was a pretty cool part usage. Now, over on this side, I want to create a sort of overhanging bridge. So now I actually have two structures. One is the arches, the base of this bridge that is gonna connect sideways in this manner like this. Let me find the right spot to connect diagonal, and that's it. So here under the arches we have just a little bit of random details, and we close it off with these chains. On top I'm gonna use this. So these are, I think they're called girder. I'm not sure if I pronounce correctly. So these sort of big supports, they're gonna be the base of the bridge. And on the side here I connect these motor hammers with some chains to block the two sides of the bridge. I was actually missing one, I only have 5 of these, so here I actually use some sort of blaster thing, but there should be another one of these over there. This is gonna slide in between those, and now to put it all together, I'm just gonna use tiles connected to those studs that we have going in between the lines of the support, and this basically will create the floor of this diagonal bridge that we have over here. So these are connected, this is pretty solid, it's not going anywhere, and we have a pretty nice looking angle over there. Now, for the rest of the details, I think we're gonna start from the bottom. So one simple thing that we're gonna add is some sort of Japanese style decoration like we have in the Ninjago City sets. I'm gonna have a sort of fisherman kind of thing going on a boat. He's carrying some wood with an elastic band, keep them all together. And here I have another bucket, crane bucket like this one in gray. So this is just gonna sit here on an angle. We are gonna have a minifigure sitting here in the corner, saying hi to the one across the road. And we're gonna add a little bit of flowers. You can see we have some purple, some like flowers all around, because we're actually gonna add a big tree in the center. I mean, not that big, but some of the flowers has been falling down all the way on the road and on the river, and they definitely help to give a little bit of color to this scene. Over on this side, I'm gonna add a sort of Torii gate that I create. Is actually a very simple structure first over here, and here I add some more construction elements. So we have 2 black shovels on the side on top, and one construction worker helmet here in the center. This is gonna connect to the jumper, and again it's gonna be on an interesting angle over here on the left corner. So I think this now is making the scene much more interesting, and we can also add some sort of electricity kind of pole over here. This is, I don't know if it's considered a construction element, but I think it's mostly for like maybe a shipyard or something like that. I don't know exactly what that support is used for. So here we have a couple of cables going and connect, making the scene a little bit more interesting. And we can put also some railings over here so that the body falls down. In the Ninjago City set, usually they have advertising running through these things, but I don't have any more printed elements that I can add over there. Now we have two last cool details. One is gonna be that interesting tree that I was telling you about. So this is the construction I make. So we have one big branch coming off on the side and one little branch going up. And here we also have a railing. Now it's hanging here, but it's actually gonna be connected as well. So let me bring this a little bit forward. We can fill this gap in the middle, connecting this to the stud over here. And then we can also connect the railing over there. So now it's all connected. We drop something here. I think we can connect this just anywhere on the side. Maybe this one. Okay, so here we have a little bit of color with this purple flower tree in the center of the scene to fill up that gap. Now we need to add something actually on top of this bridge over here to make it even more interesting. So what I wanted to create is a sort of rickshaw. So I create two wheels over here. This is going to be a bit weird because it's not going to be connected actually. So the wheels are going to be on top there. And then on top I'm going to use another wheelbarrow like this one. Here we have the sweating worker that is carrying the rickshaw. Luckily no customer now on top. And then I made a connection with modified plates inside, to which I add two pickaxes that will look like the side support of the overhead cover. This is not going to connect to the wheels, but it's just going to sit in between. So this is going to be something, let me show you on camera, something like this. So basically it's just sitting on top, not connected, and this is going to be on top of the bridge. So I think that is a pretty interesting detail to finish up the scene. Now, let me know in the comments what you think about this, and also let me know at the beginning of the video how many of these construction elements you spot. I can tell you that there are actually 26. Now, thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this kind of game where you need to spot something into a build, I highly recommend you to check out my medieval hide and seek, in which I have hidden a lot of minifigure and swords. Please go check it out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao!